So what three elements do your videos need to have, whether they're organic content videos or they're videos on your website, videos in your email? If they're videos that you're creating to get customers, what are the three elements that you have to have present? So in this video, I'm just going to talk about these three things. It's going to be really simple and you can absolutely do it. And if you just inject these three things, you're going to have a lot more success with your videos. And the reason I know this is because I've been out studying the different videos, looking at what makes them do what they do in terms of going viral, having a lot of engagement. Even my own videos where I have a lot of this present and I try to make it present in all the videos, I've noticed that those are the videos that take off and get tens of thousands of views and more. They get people to the website, they get people opting in, and then when they do opt in and they do see that video on the next page, and I inject these three things throughout the video, it causes it to be a great success. And it's so easy to do, and I think people just complicate making videos in general, so that's why I'm making this video, to make it simpler for you. Now, one thing that has always been a difficult thing for my clients is when I say, all right, well, we've got to make these videos to get attraction, get attention, get people over to the website, and then we've got to make these videos that get people to actually take action and, sign up or buy stuff or reach out or whatever. And whenever I do that, the biggest thing that comes back to me is, well, how do I do that? Or where do I start? Or I don't know what to say, or I don't know what to talk about. And I always ask them, I say, well, who are we talking to? Who's this person, first of all? And, they'll say, well, it's this person, this is my best client. I say, okay, well, what do they actually want really bad? Not what they need. All right, because when I first started making things online and started selling stuff online, I was always thinking about, the customer. I got to get the customer what they need so that they have success. And the thing about people is they don't buy what they need. They typically buy what they want. All right, and so then we have to give them what they need. But I want you to think about this as like, how would I catch a mouse? Okay, you would take whatever the mouse really, really wanted, what the mouse really desired, and then you would put it where the mouse is, and you would put it on a trap. Well, in the online world, our trap is come over to this funnel, and I will offer you something that you really, really want. You want it so bad that you would exchange your email address with me to get that thing. And that's the trap. And it's a good trap because it's a trap that's going to help them solve their problem. Okay? And so what we want to really do is think about, how would I catch a mouse? We wouldn't make the trap hard to get to. We wouldn't have a lot of distractions on the way to the trap so that we would have a lesser chance of getting that person to give us their email. Or in this case, if we really wanted to catch a mouse, we wouldn't make it hard for the mouse to get caught. We would make a simple, clean path all the way to the trap. We would put the trap exactly where the mouse is going to be. And we would know this because we would look for where we seen the mouse, and that's where we would put the trap, right? So if that is true, it's the same thing in human behavior as it is in animal behavior, right? I have a friend, he's a deer hunter, and he'll go out and scout the forest for weeks, and he'll watch where those deer are rubbing on trees, and he'll see where the path is, where there's berries, where they're, all the marks where he sees them, and that's where he decides to put his tree stand. He's a bow hunter, where he'll set up in the tree and get his deer, all right? And it's the same thing here with what we're doing on social media, with growing our business, with getting customers. We're simply going to go look where they are going all the time, what they are consuming all the time, what environment they're in. And here's the thing about that deer hunter, okay? He dresses up like the forest, right? So the deer doesn't see him. And that's when he makes his act, right? That's when he does his, shoots his bow. He doesn't want to look out and obstruct. Like, he doesn't want to be out in the, bright colors and show up, because then it'll feel so unnatural to the deer that it won't go there, right? It'll scare it off. So just like you on social media, you want to, they call it native advertising, where you blend in with the surroundings, but because you're blending in, they're going to actually consume. All right, let me make more sense of this. If you're, and I hate to use like hunting and fishing analogies, but everybody knows what that is. It's what's kept humans alive for so long. So here's the thing. If you go to like a fishing magazine, right? They'll have something in that magazine that'll be like, here's how to tie a hook, really good so that, when a fish pulls on it, it doesn't break or you don't lose the fish. And you'll be reading this article and it'll be so helpful. It'll bring you in and you're reading it. It's just part of the magazine. It's some advice, some help in the magazine. And come to find out, towards the end of that article, they're suggesting some sort of product, or they're saying, hey, buy our hooks or buy our fishing line or buy our whatever, right? So you got lured in and actually consumed it because it felt like just the tips and advice in that magazine. And if you don't know, magazines are just delivery devices at one time, kind of like an email list where people would consume articles and consume content within that magazine. All the while, it's just designed to attract the right type of people and sell those people those types of things that you would sell in whatever magazine it is that you're consuming. Same goes with your email, same goes with social media. You want to look like the platform, you want to feel like the natural experience they're having so they consume, but when they do consume, you are going to inject these 3 things right here and you will get engagement, response, and people will take actions. So the first one is you have to hook them, right? Just like the mouse, you wouldn't hook the mouse with something it doesn't want. You would hook the mouse with what it does want, the cheese. And you would make it very clear that they can get that thing that they want. It's just right here. So you have to have a hook. Now, how do you come up with a good hook? Well, the question is, who are you trying to hook? And what do they want? Not need, but want. See, until you can get their attention, you can't give them what they need, right? If people got what they needed, there wouldn't be overweight people, there wouldn't be broke people, there wouldn't be sad people, there would be all these things that would not happen if everybody did what they needed to do, right? But that's not the case. People do what they want, right? So you got to figure out who am I trying to catch? What's the mouse? Who's the mouse? Who's the animal? Who's the person? And what do they actually want? Like, think about they're laying in bed and they have this, either desire or this problem to fix or this desire to fix their problem, whatever it may be, right? And they're laying in bed and they wake up in cold sweats. There's a knot in their throat. It's like 3 a.m. They wake up in bed, they set up and they swing their feet off the bed and they're sitting there and they're just got their head in their hand and they're like, God, if I could just, whatever that line is next after that, that is what they really want. Why do they want more customers? Why do they want the right music? Why do they want the service that you provide? What is the real thing that they want? You've got to lead with that. Once you do that, you need to make sure that person knows it's exactly for them. And if you do the hook right, they'll know. Like when I was really focused on helping martial arts business owners, I had a business, martialartsgrowth.com, where I would help martial arts business owners get more students, okay? And I would always say, hey, if you're a martial arts business owner and you want to get more students in your school, but you don't have a lot of time to get those students, I've got some things that I will show you that will do that. That's the hook. And they knew it was for them because I called them out. So that's one way you can call people out. The second way is just by leading with the hook. Like you could be like, these 3 recipes that I'm about to show you will make your family so happy with you on Halloween. Okay, so that's towards a family, a parent, or somebody that likes to cook, right? So it depends on, or these 3 fishing poles will help you catch more fish this weekend than anything else, right? So we know because of what we're showing them, what we're hooking them with, that person will know that it's for them, right? They'll identify with that. Does that make sense? So the hook is super critical. And the hook is always something that they really want, and it's got this curiosity bit to it. And a lot of times, here's the best way to think about this. People will do more to get out of a burning building than they will to get a Ferrari or a 6-pack of abs, right? So what does that mean? That means that people will do more to get away from pain than they will to go to pleasure. So whenever you're thinking of your hook, if it sounds like you're trying to, show them how to get to pleasure or something like that, let's try to reverse it. So instead of like, do these 3 things and you'll be successful, instead you could flip that thing around and you could say, most people, there's 3 things that they need to do, and they're usually just missing one of them. And if they don't do that, they're not going to have success. And that's why in this video, I want to show you what those 3 things are to see, are you doing this or not? So you're turning it around into more of like, oh crap, am I doing that or not? That's how you want to reframe that into like getting away from pain versus, oh, I'm going to get some pleasure. I said the same thing, but I reframed it so that it's getting away from pain instead of trying to get to pleasure. Okay, so that's just a little simple thing that I've learned that has really been extremely valuable, by the way. And so you've got to have a hook. So whenever you're doing your TikToks, your Instagram Reels, your long form content on YouTube, your offer amplifier videos or your email videos, whenever you're talking to your audience, if you want them to pay attention, if you want to catch the mouse, you have to look like the place you're at, but whatever you are communicating needs to be something that what they want, and you don't just give it away. I see so many people give away the answer. It's like in a movie trailer, if somebody just told you how the movie ended, you wouldn't go watch the movie. But what do? They show you all the things that you want to see, all the activities and everything, and then they're like, here's when the movie comes out, right? So it's the same thing here on your landing pages, in your headlines, in your social media posts and descriptions, in your YouTube video long form descriptions, in your emails, in everything that you're creating that you're trying to get someone to take an action with you. You want to get them really hooked in with what they want, and then you want to leave out the present. They have to do the action to get the present, right? I seen in a dating book, I was over at my friend's one time, and he was always trying to get dates, and he didn't do too good with chicks, and he bought this dating advice book, and it was like laying on his table, and I was waiting for him to get ready. We were going to go out and have some beers or whatever, and I open this book, and I just open it to a random page, and he's like, one of the pages is like, if somebody's chasing you, what will you do? Run. And I thought that was kind of interesting, because a lot of you are chasing your prospects instead of trying to attract them. But the other thing that it said in there, which was so interesting to me, was that if you really want to, attract somebody and get them to do something and get them to take action with you, you want to be able to lead them around to different locations. So he's like, it's said in there in the book, like if you meet someone at the bar, you want to, introduce yourself in such a way that it's kind of like interesting, whatever, but then you want to try to get them to go somewhere with you. That influences them in such a way that it's like engagement, right? So maybe you'd meet them up at the bar and say, hey, why don't you come over here to our table? We're playing cards, or we're playing pool or darts or whatever. And if they come with you, that is the first sign that you've got some engagement there, that you've got them to do something. So in many cases, you always want to have your prospects or whoever's watching your stuff try to do something, because that engagement right there gets them more connected with you. Whether it's something as simple as, put down in the comments that you agree with this or disagree with this. That's going to be a key element to helping you get more engagement. People that take action at things, they tend to keep going. It's kind of like Newton's law, and that if it's going in that direction, it'll keep going in that direction unless otherwise broken, okay? So we want to hook them. We want to get their attention with what they want, and we might make it real clear and easy for them to get to it. The next thing you want to do, which you've seen me do all throughout this video so far, which keeps you engaged, because we're naturally engaged with this, is tell a story, okay? So tell a story about something. Now, a lot of my clients, they go, I don't know what kind of story to tell. Well, first of all, what was the hook, all right? And then because you hooked them about this thing that you're going to help them with, if they opt in, if they watch the video, if they whatever, right? Read the email, click in the email. The thing you want to think about is as soon as you create the hook, then you want to think about the story. How do you think about a story? A story is always like this, okay? I'm here and I'm trying to do something. As I go to do it, there's these events that happen that lead up to me either getting it or not getting it, all right? And there's a lesson that comes from either side, all right? And there's the hero's two journeys. If you've ever learned about that, you can look that up, but it's just really this, this person's got this idea that they want to do something or that they want to get something, and then they go out on this journey to get it, and they learn things along the way, and then they either get it or they don't get it. That's a basic story. So, or you could tell a story that is like an example of the same thing. Like I was showing you and talking to you about, my friend, he hunts deer, and I was telling you this story, how he'll go out, so he wants to get a deer, so he goes out, and I'm telling you this story, and he looks and searches, so he does all this stuff, and then that's where he decides to put his tree stand or whatever, right? So that's an example. So you could share a story about an example or how you learned it. A lot of times, if you don't have a story, it's because you didn't do it. So if you want to have stories, you got to do things, or you have to, you have to look at things. You have to observe things. You have to listen about things that are going on within that realm that you're talking about. So that's real simple. When somebody comes to me and they're like, I don't know what story to tell. Sometimes they need to be pulled on, like ask questions, and sometimes you can have your friends ask you questions about this. You could say, I'm really trying to, sell this thing, and I'm really trying to get people to this event, or I'm really trying to get people, I'm trying to build up my social, attention and all of that stuff. But the thing is I need some help with some stories. So they could ask you questions. Well, how do you know about this? Or why did you start this? Or, so that's some way to get a story. But once you have the hook, think about some stories that you could tell that either give more clarity on that, build up anticipation for that, and, get them to really see, oh, okay, because, stories sell, facts smell. And I learned that in MLM, and I actually learned it from my girlfriend, because I'd go in there and I'd be talking about all these facts and all this stuff, and she's like, nobody cares about the facts, right? They share a story that helps them see themselves doing the thing or understanding the thing better. That's, think of stories that you could say that with, right? So that's a really, really powerful tip right there. And notice that I've also got this anticipation thing going, right? It's a list. We love lists because it's like, what's coming, right? We love anticipation. We love that feeling. It's like a dopamine hit. And you're wanting to see like what is going to happen. These are all elements that help videos do really well, that help when you speak do really well. And talk to that one person when you're doing it. Okay? So tell a story. How did you figure this out? Why do you know this? When did you figure this out? Who were you with when you discovered this? Okay? Who, what, when, where, why, how. Use that framework to think about stories. Okay? What happened when you did this? Okay? Who would this work best for, and how do you know that? That's a great way to prompt yourself to be able to do this. And then the final thing is you've got, what is the outcome? What's that solution? What's the payoff? You need to have something like that. Okay, in this case, I said if you want to have more engaging videos that get people to do things and take action, you're going to want to do these three things. So this is the big payoff, right? I've been able to tell a story throughout this, and now you want to give them the solution. Notice how I did all this like intertwined within what I'm doing as I'm actually teaching this to you. So that's a great way to do things. If you help people get what they want, Zig Ziglar said, you won't have to worry about what it is that you want. Here's where people mess up in this part of the actual video creation and doing. What they don't do is give somebody a clear, urgent call to action, okay? Urgent, scarce call to action. If you want people to take action, whatever it may be, subscribe, comment, all of that, you got to have an urgent, scarce reason why they should. Urgency means time, okay? So when you think of urgency, think, what is a time thing? What's the reason they need to do it now? Like, create a time element right there. We're only doing this for so long. You should subscribe because I don't have a posting schedule, and I'm not sure when the next one's going to come out. And if you don't want to miss it, you'll want to click that little bell so you don't miss it. Okay, that's like an urgent reason. Scarce, just think of like quantity or amount. All right, I'll put amount here. Okay, but think of like scarce, urgent amount. How do you do that? Well, we're going to be producing a series of these videos, and we're only going to make so many. And so whoever gets in, they're going to be the ones that see that, but you may miss one. You know, or this bonus only goes for so long, or we only have so many seats left. Okay? These are things that make it scarce. We're only going to work with this many people because we work so closely with them. Okay? I've got a mastermind that I'm getting ready to release, and it's going to be for just 100 people. All right? And they have to do a certain amount, and they got to be able to do blankety blankety blank. So there's these limitations, which makes it urgent and scarce, because there's only 100 spots. We're only doing this much, with people, and they have to meet these particular demands. Boom. And then the call to action, clear call to action means tell me exactly what to do. With the mousetrap example, the clear call to action is like, make it extremely simple for that mouse to get to the trap. You wouldn't make this difficult, okay? Make it extremely easy and clear, okay? What do you want me to do? Like for me, I do a free call. Like if somebody wants to do a strategy call with me, we can, build a plan out for their business, and I'll show them how to use organic video and funnels and email automation and retargeting and stuff like that to grow their business. I tell them, listen, if you want me to just give you a free game plan, all you have to do is click the button below this video. This is on the page, right? So this is on my second page of my funnel. I have a button where they can click it, and I say, now, if you like what you heard in this video and you want to do a free game plan with me, go down below this video, click Let's Talk. What will happen is you're going to go to the next page. On that next page, there'll be just a calendar form. Pick a day and pick a time, and then I ask you a handful of questions that helps me understand if you're a good fit for this, or if we can actually do this call, because you got to meet a certain criteria for us to work with you. But I ask you a few questions. After that, when you fill that out, you're going to get an email that tells you when the appointment is, and it's going to have a link in it to jump on Zoom, or I'll call you, or whatever the case is. And then you're going to go to this final page, and then that's it, okay? And you'll get a few reminders. So you just take them step by step as if you're holding their hand, walking them through the car dealership, walking them through your store to the checkout counter, walking them to the deal, okay? Make it easy and clear. Do not make it hard. But as you explain that to them, it makes them more apt to do it, simply because there's no anxieties of, the fear of unknown or what's going to happen next. Even though it may be simple to you and it might just be completely obvious to you, most of the time it's not to them. They're in this state where they're trying to figure something out, they're trying to get somewhere, and their mind's not working the way it always should in that moment. And you just want to help people in general, just make that simpler for them. So I hope you got a lot of value. Now, to recap, every time you go to create a piece of content, preferably I hope it's video. Why in the heck would you speak to somebody any other way if you can just do this, right? And get good on video. Listen, video's only going to get better. Content creation's we're at the tip of the tip here. It's getting started. So everything that you create, if we want to get them to take action, we are going to have a clear hook that they want. Okay, again, this is what they want, not need. You can give them what they need when they get started. Want. Story. Use the who, what, when, why, and how, and just explain that to us. Show us how you know this. And then provide that solution. All right? A great way is to use lists. Okay? And whenever you do a video, keep it on one topic, right? And try to show examples. So lists, demo, you can use contrast, okay? Us versus them, why we do it this way, or I seen somebody talk about this, and here's why I agree with it or disagree with it and why it matters to you. Those are great things. And if you want me to share with you all these different content prompts, these are the top content prompts that have worked extremely well for us, and I've just bundled them down, and I always do this. I used one of these today, so these are great content things. If you want me to do that, just put down in the comments, yes, just put content prompts, or let's make it even easier, just content hacks or tips. Put that down in the comments below if you want that. That way I know you want that. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. But then if you could, so I can make better videos for you, tell me down in the comments what you didn't like about the video. If you want to learn more about this kind of stuff, if you like this stuff, You should probably subscribe, hit the bell button thing, because listen, I don't have a posting schedule. I just post whenever I'm feeling it and I'm going, which is every day at some point in the day. But if you don't want to miss that, make sure you do that, all right? But I hope you got a lot of value out of this. There should be a video on the screen like right here that you can go check out. It'll give you some more advice. And listen, the reason I do this stuff is because businesses need customers. They want customers, and they want to get more customers by doing less. And so we figured out how to use the internet to do that using our automated inbound video retargeting machine. And so that's what I want to show you how to do. And I break down how to use funnels, how to do advertising, how to do just marketing in general, content marketing, and all the things that you would need to get money from the internet. I'm going to show you how to do that. So hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you in the next video.